Okay, so this is the beginning of chapter 3. And chapter 3 is all about commands. That's one thing that's completely different about this chapter. So those 5 charts that we had been working with up to this point, the 3 for the present, o asa, amos aisan, etc., and the 2 for the preterite, e aste o, amos asteisaron, and the other one. At this point, we can pretty much forget about them because this chapter is all about commands, and these have rules of their own. All right, so as long as you know a verb, you can make a command out of it. All right, so um, we are going to start with the easiest type of command, which is do commands. All right, and then we'll learn about some other ones later on, but we'll start with the easiest one. So let's begin. Let's go ahead and write our definition. So commands, in this case, the easiest one, informal commands, are used to give people that you address as tú, to give them orders, advice, or instructions. And let me set up my pen here. After you write this down, who are some people? Well, thinking back from Spanish 1, right? So we have the tú, we have the usted, we have formal versus informal. And if you remember from Spanish 1, the big group of people that you address as tú is basically anybody that you address by first name, right? So that's the type of command that we're going to be working with here. So anybody that you address by first name, that would be all your friends, that would be siblings, that would be classmates. Those would be groups of people that you can say these types of commands to. All right. And from an adult's point of view, so from like your parents' point of view, them addressing you because you're younger than they are, and they address you by first name, that means they can give you a tú command all day long. And you've heard them. Parents are really good at giving their kids commands. So if you got good parents, you're lucky enough to be told to do different things around the house. All right. So think of all those things your parents tell you to do: wash the dishes, clean your room, make your bed, all those things. Take out the trash, vacuum the living room, or vacuum the house, or wash the car. All those things are commands, and they're specifically tú commands because they're older than you and they're addressing you by first name. So it's a tú command. All right, so just to have it here, go ahead and write the 2 examples that I have. Do your homework, clean your room, etc., etc. All right. Unfortunately, because we are doing distance learning and we're not meeting in the classroom, we're missing out on this fun opportunity at the end of the year. Usually, when we learn tú commands and the other types of commands, we usually do a skit where you and your partner, one of you acts out the role of being the parent, the other one acts out the role of being the student, or the son or the daughter, and it's usually a really, really fun skit for everybody. But unfortunately, we're going to miss out on that opportunity. So that's the definition. Again, we're working with tú commands, so write that question down. How do you form tú commands in Spanish? All right, so we'll learn the other types of commands later on. Right now, it's tú commands. So here's the rule. I said we can forget about the o, asa, amos, aisan, the 3 charts for the present, the 2 for the preterite. So how do we form tú commands in Spanish? Well, there is a rule. So if you know the verb, you do have to conjugate the verb, all right, which means changing the ending. We are working in the present. However, we're not going to conjugate that verb that we're talking about for tú, but rather for usted. All right, so that seems really weird because it's a tú command. Why would I choose the ending that goes with usted in the present? That's something I can't explain. All right, that's just the rule. So if you think of the present, the AR chart is o, asa, amos, aisan. ER chart is OS hemos isen. IR chart is OS imos isen, right? And out of those 6 endings for AR, right? I'm not choosing the one for tú, I'm choosing the one for usted, which is the third one. 1, 2, 3. So if you got an AR verb like hablar, caminar, explicar, estudiar, etc., if it's an AR, the only ending you are going to choose to make a tú command out of it is going to be that third one, the one that goes with usted. All right, because remember, this is yo, this is tú, this is él, ella, and usted. So if it's an AR verb, automatically the only ending I choose is a. All right, the other 5 are not possibilities. I have to choose that one. All right, so if the verb is estudiar, for example, right, which means to study, the command, which is maybe your parents telling you, hey, you got a test tomorrow, study, right? It would be estudia. Hablar, which means to talk or speak, right? Maybe you're keeping a secret and they're telling you, speak up, say it, right? It'd be habla, etc., etc. All right, that's the only ending you choose if you want to make a tú command out of it, okay? And following the same pattern, so the usted ending for ER is that third one, so OS E. A is the only possible ending I choose for ER verbs. You think of an ER verb like to eat is comer, right? Well, maybe you're telling your little brother to eat, right? You're going to tell him come. Hurry up, come. All right, and if you got an IR verb, it's the same thing. The usted one is the third one, so OS E. It's also the E. Let's see, an IR verb might be like to share is compartir, and an IR. Maybe you want to, maybe your mom is telling you to share with your sister or your brother, right? And she'll tell you comparte, right? Share your chips with your brother or your sister. Comparte. All right, so that is the rule for tú commands. Don't choose the ending that goes with tú, which would have been that one if I'm doing regular conjugations in the present, but I'm not doing regular conjugations. I'm doing tú commands. All right, so choose that third one. So a, e are my only possible endings. And what about stem changes? What if the verb I'm trying to give a command with is a stem changing verb, right? So if it has that parentheses, e to I, e, o to u to ue, do I make the stem change? Do I not? Maybe, sometimes yes, sometimes no. What do I do? Well, we're going to simplify it here. There's no choosing yes, no, maybe so. It's going to be yes, always. All right, so stem changes are always going to have, well, I'm sorry. If it's a stem changing verb, always make the stem change happen. As long as it's a tú command, always, always, always. All right, so there's no maybe. One example, comenzar is a stem changing verb because it says e to ie. All right, that e is going to change to an ie. There's no deciding on whether it's going to have it or not. It is going to have that stem change. All right, it is going to have it. All right, so start your homework. It's a tú command. Do I change the e to an ie? Yes, always. So that's an ie right there. And what's my ending going to be? I said if it's an AR verb, the only possible ending is the a, right? So this would be comienza, comienza. And then your homework is tu tarea. Comienza tu tarea. All right, so as long as you see a verb that has a stem change, Make that stem change happen. All right, all the time, always, always, always. As long as it's a tu command. All right, I got 3 ejemplos for you. Park the car. The car is el carro with 2 R's. And this is to park. Obviously, I can't leave the ending like that. I have to change it. So if it's an AR verb, what's my only possible ending? Estaciona. Get rid of the R. Estaciona el carro. I would suggest write down the examples. Number 2. So turn on the computer. To turn on is prender. If you look in your vocab. And if it's an ER verb, the only possible ending I have is e. Right? So prende. So prende means turn on. And then la computadora. Prende la computadora. And the last example, número 3, come back. All right, volver means to return, but it also means to come back. So come back is together in that one verb. It is a stem changing verb, the O to UE. Do I make the O change to a UE? Absolutely, yes, all the time. All right, so I imagine that's a UE because it has to change into a UE. And then if it's another ER verb, so what's the only ER ending I can choose? So e. So vuelve. Vuelve. So come back is vuelve. How do you say two? Two is a. And then how do you say school? School is escuela, right? But don't forget, anytime school comes up, I need to say the school. Right? Even though I didn't say it, I do need to say the in Spanish. So vuelve a la escuela. Alright, so those are my 3 examples. Again, my endings are a. If it's an AR verb, e for ER and e for IR. And make the stem change happen, always. Let's do some practice and we'll call it a day. Alright, right here I wrote the verbs for those underlined words. Alright, start the car. To start is prender. It's an ER, so I gotta choose the only ending I can have for ER, which is e, so prende. I just put ... but el carro would be after that. Imprimir is to print. It's an IR verb. The only IR ending I can choose is the third one, which is e. So imprime. ... The paper is el papel, but we don't need to worry about that right now. Sell. Vender. Vende. And it would have been la casa. And it's up to you if you want to write the rest of them, but as long as this is making sense to you, then it's good. To fill is llenar, so it's an AR. The only AR ending I can choose is a, so llena. Close, this one's a stem changing one. Do I change the E to an IE? Absolutely, so imagine that's an IE right there, and then my ending is AR, so a. Cierra would be the verb. And then el libro if I would have been writing the whole sentence. How about run? ER has to be e. So corre. With the double exclamation marks, right? And share is compartir. IR, so the only one I can choose is e. Comparte con tu hermano. Alright, so I do have one more slide for you as far as notes is concerned. And yes, you got to write them down. I just wanted to make the point that right now, what you see right here, the a and the e, and the stem change happening all the time as long as it's a stem changing verb. This pretty much covers, like, I don't know, I would say maybe like 95-96% of all the verbs that exist in Spanish. As long as you know the verb, you can put that ending in there and all of a sudden it's a tu command. All right, that is the rule for like 96% of the verbs that exist in Spanish, but there are some verbs that have their own thing going on. They are irregulars. All right, and that's what my next slide is. There's a whole bunch, but I just want to give you the 8 main ones that you do need to know. All right, that appear in this textbook. So that is what the next slide is. Other than these 8, though, keep following that rule of a, e, and the stem change. All right, but if you see these 8 verbs showing up, you have to follow what you're about to see on this page. Okay, so here we go. That's all 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if you see these 8 verbs, ir, salir, tener, decir, hacer, poner, venir, and ser. If you see these verbs, or you need to translate these words from English into a command in Spanish, you have to put these irregular commands exactly as you see them. So if you want to say go with your brother. All right, go to the store with your brother. You have to say ve con tu hermano. If you want to say get out of my room, you have to say sal de mi cuarto. All right, so you have to follow what you see right here. You can't follow the other rule that we just learned, the a and the e. You can't do that. So for salir, you can't say sale. Tener, you can't say tene. This, you can't say dese, hace, pone, bene. All right. This is se, but it has an accent mark. All right, so you have to follow what you see on here. So these, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on Quizlet separately. It'll say 80 regular tu commands. What I recommend is you memorize these because it's important that you memorize these. All right, so that you don't make the mistake of saying sale, tene, dese, hace, pone, bene. All right, it's important that you memorize these. So I'm going to put them up on Quizlet, and I highly recommend that you study those, memorize them, quiz yourself, just to get them in your head that these are irregular. All right, you can't use the a and the a as endings. Okay. Again, this would be like have the food ready. All right, so ten la comida. Say the truth, right? Di la verdad. Make dinner or do your homework, right? Haz tu tarea. Put the homework on the desk, right? Pon la tarea en el escritorio. Come here, ven aquí. Be, and then plus a characteristic. For example, like be nice, be patient. As long as there's a word here that's an adjective, it's going to be a correct characteristic. And you have to use ser, which means using this irregular tu command. So like be nice or be good, right? Sé bueno. Be patient. Sé paciente. All right, so on and so forth. So let's pronounce them real quick. Ve, sal, ten, di, haz, pon, ven, sé, with an accent mark. And let's do some practice only with the 8 irregulars. All right, so again, as long as it's not one of these 8 irregulars, use the a and the e as endings. But if it's one of these 8 irregulars, once you got to memorize, you just have to use the irregular command. All right, so we got to memorize them. All right, so these are some practice problems with those 8 irregulars. Go was ir, right? And if you look on that list, again, you can have that during the quiz, but as long as you have it out and you recognize that it is an irregular one, to look on there. So go is be, and then with me is conmigo, so ve conmigo. And what I recommend you do at this point is maybe pause this video and see if you can do the rest of them. If you can do the whole thing, it'd be nice, but at least that first word or the underlined part, using the age irregular commands that I just gave you. All right, so say comes from the verb decir, so di, and then the truth is right there. And by the way, just like I provided you here with the words conmigo, la verdad, and paciente for patient, on the Quizlet and even on the quiz, if there's a word that I know absolutely we don't have on our vocab and we have never seen it before, I will provide you with that word in parentheses. Usually I'll put it in parentheses. That's a sloppy parentheses, but anyway, I'll usually give it to you in parentheses, and that way you know that it's I'm giving you one of the words that's there that we haven't necessarily studied. Okay, so next one is the la verdad. Be, right, again, that's a characteristic. Be patient is right there. So sé paciente, accent mark on the e. Put comes from poner, so pon el dinero. And this was for this. We saw this last chapter, which is why I'm not providing you with the word right there. But do you remember here, there, over there? Here, there, over there. So we did see this word last chapter. This should ring a bell. Remember aquí, allí, allá. Aquí, allí, allá. Right? Aquí is here. There is allí. And allá is over there. So this one is allá with an accent mark on the last A. All right, so you might want to review those three words. Aquí, allí, allá. Here, there, over there. You do have that in the notes. Get out comes from salir. So sal de mi casa. Do your homework. Haz comes from hacer. So haz tu tarea. And come here, please comes from venir. So ven. Remember, here, there, over there. So aquí, por favor. And it does have an accent mark right there on the I, by the way. So anyway, this is just practice for the age irregular. So if it's one of these age irregulars, then it is be, di, se, pon, sal, haz, or ven. But if it's not one of these age irregulars, then it's just following that rule of the a and the a, and making that stem change happen if it's a stem changing verb. Other than that, that concludes these notes, everybody.